Hello friends. In this session, I explain data security violations. Security is a process of protecting files, database, and accounts on a network by adopting a set of controls, application, and techniques that identify the relative importance of different data sets, their sensitivity, regularity complaints, requirements, and then applying appropriate protection to secure those resources. The intent of security attacks in a computer network is the denial of service to the users of a resource, such as software, data, or even a machine. Most attacks take the form of a virus or worm, with variation such as the Trojan horse. Cookies are making the news because of their potential to compromise a user's privacy, but they are not intrusive into a user's automated resource. So I start this session with example of security violence. Here I explain common example of violations on security, particularly on information transmitted through a network. First example is a user A transmit a file to user B. The file contains sensitive information like payroll records that is to be protected from disclosure. User C, who is not authorized to read the file, is able to monitor the transmission and capture a copy of the file during its transmission. Another example is a network manager D transmit a message to a computer E under its management. The message instructs computer E to update an authorization file that includes the identities of a number of new users who are to be given access to that computer. User F intercepts the message, alter its contents to add or delete entries, and then forward the message to E, which accepts the message as coming from manager D and updates its authorization file accordingly. Or we can say, rather than intercept a message, user F constructs its own message with the desired entries and transmits that message to E as if it had come from manager D. Computer E accepts the message as coming from manager D and updates its authorization file accordingly. Now, next example is an employee is fired without warning. The person manager sends a message to a server system to invalidate the employee's account. When the invalidation is accomplished, the server is to post a notice to the employee's file as confirmation of the action. The employee is able to intercept the message and delay it long enough to make a final access to the server to retrieve sensitive information. The message is then forwarded, the action taken, and the confirmation posted. The employee's action may go unnoticed for some considerable time. Or another way, we can say a manager sent a message from a customer to a stockbroker with instruction for various transactions. Subsequently, the investment lost value and the customer defaults sending the message. So, it's a common example in which security violence is most of occurs. So, our next topic is what are the challenge of security? Internetwork security is complex and at the same time interesting. Here we highlight some challenge in providing security. First is security involving communication and network is not as simple as it might first appear to the noise. The requirement seems to be straightforward. Indeed, most of the major requirements for security services can be given self-explanatory. For that, one words labels are confidentiality, authentication, non-repudiation, integrity. But the mechanism used to meet those requirements can be quite complex, and understanding them may involve rather subtle reasoning. Next is developing a particular security mechanism or algorithm. One must always consider potential attacks on those security features. It may case successful attacks are designed by looking at the problem in a completely different way. Therefore, manipulating an unexpected weakness in the mechanism. Based on that, we can say the procedure used to provide a particular services are often count, counterintuitive, means it is not obvious from the statement of a particular requirement that such elaborate measures are needed. It is only when the various countermeasures are considered that the measures used make sense. Next is having designed various security mechanisms, it is necessary to decide where to use them. This is true both in terms of physical placement, like at what point in a network are certain security mechanism need, and in a logical sense, or we can say at what layer or layers of an architecture such as TCP/IP should mechanism be placed. Next is security mechanisms usually involve more than a particular algorithm or protocol. They usually also require that participants be in control of some secret information. Example like an encryption key, which raises question about the creation, distributions, and protection of that secret informations. There is also a trust on communication protocols whose behavior make completely the task of developing the security mechanism. For example, if the proper functioning of the security mechanism requires setting time limits on the transit time of a message from sender to receiver, then any protocol or network that introduce variables, unpredictable delays may render such time limits meaningless. Now, I have discussed on security attacks, services, and mechanism. To access the security need of an organization effectively, the manager responsible for security needs some semantic way of defining the requirements of security and characterize of approach to satisfy those requirements. One approach is to consider these three aspects of information security. For that, in security attack, any action that compromise the security of information owned by an organization. Next is security mechanism, a mechanism that is designed to detect, prevent, or recover from a security attack. Next is security service, a service that enhance the security of the data processing system and the information transfer of an organization. The services are intended to counter security attacks and they make use of one or more security mechanism to provide the service. Now, I explain basic terms of security. First is cryptography, means the art or science, including the principles and methods of transforming an intelligible message into one that is unintelligible and then retransforming that message back to its original form. Next is plain text, means the original intelligible message. Next is ciphertext, means the transform message. Next is cipher, means an algorithm for transforming an intelligible message into one that is unintelligible by transforming and or substitution methods. Next is key, means some critical information used by the cipher known only to the sender and receiver. Next is encipher or encode, means the process of converting plain text to ciphertext using a cipher and a key. Next is decipher or decodes, means the process of converting ciphertext back into plain text using a cipher and a key. Next is cryptanalysis, means the study of principles and methods of transforming an unintelligible message back into an intelligible message without knowledge of the key. It's also called code breaking. Next is cryptology, means combination of both cryptography and cryptanalysis. Next is code, means an algorithm for transforming an intelligible message into an unintelligible one using a codebook. Now, I explain principle of information security system, or we can say security system development lifecycle. Security system development lifecycle is defined as the set of procedures that are executed in a sequence in the software development cycle. It is designed such that it can help developers to create software and application in a way that reduce the security risk at later stage significantly from the start. The security system development lifecycle is somewhat some as software development lifecycle, but they are differ in terms of activities that are carried out in each phase of the cycle. The security system development lifecycle eliminates security vulnerabilities. Its process involves the identification of certain threats and the risk that those threats represent on system, as well as the needed implementation of security controls to counter, remove, and manage the risk involved. Whereas in the SDLC process, the focus is mainly on the design and implementation of an information system. Now, I explain phase involved in the system development life cycle. First is system investigation. This process is started by the official or directives working at the top level management in the organization. The objective and the goal of project is considered priorly in order to execute this process, and information security policy is defined, which contains the description of security application and programs installed among with their implementation in organization system. Next is system analysis. In this phase, detailed document analysis of the documents from the system investigation phase are done. Already existing security policies, application, and software are analyzed in order to check for different flow and vulnerabilities in the system. Upcoming threats, possibilities are also analyzed. Risk management comes under this policy is also included. Now, next is logic design. The logic design phase deals with the development of tools and the following blueprints that are involved in various information security policies, their application and software. Backup and recovery policies are also drafted in order to prevent future loss. In case of any disaster, the steps to taken in business are also planned. The decision for outsourcing the company project is decided in this phase. It is analyzed whether the project can be completed in the company itself or it need to be sent to another company for the specific task. Next is physical design. The technical team acquire the tools and blueprints needed for the implementation of the software and application of the system security. During this phase, different solutions are investigated for any unexpected issue which may be encountered in the future. They are analyzed and written down in order to cover the most of the vulnerabilities that were missed during the analysis phase. Next is implementation. The solution decided in earlier phase are made final whether the project being in-house or outsourced. The proper documentation are provided of the product in order to meet the requirement specification for the project to be made. Implementation and the integration process of the project are carried out with the help of various teams aggressively testing whether the product meets the system requirements specified in the system documentation. Next is maintenance. After the implementation of the security program, it must be ensured that it is functioning properly and managed accordingly. The security program must be kept up to data accordingly in order to counter new threats that can be left unseen at the time of design. Now, I explain what is confidentiality. Confidentiality refers to protecting information from beginning or being accessed by unauthorized parties. In other words, only the people who are authorized to do so can gain access to sensitive data. Imagine your bank records. You should be able to access them. Of course, an employee at the banks who are helping you with the transaction should be able to access them, but no one else should. A failure to maintain confidentiality means that someone who should not have access has managed to get it through intentional behavior or by accident. Such a failure of confidentiality, commonly known as breach, typically cannot be improved. Once the secret has been exposed, there's no way to unravel it. If your bank records are posted on a public website, everyone can know your bank account's number, balance, etc. And that information can't be erased from their minds, papers, computer, and other place. Nearly all the major security incidents reported in the media today involved major loss of confidentiality. So, in summary, a breach of confidentiality means that someone gains access to information who should not have access to it. So, best practice used to ensure confidentiality are as follows. First is an authentication process which ensures that authorized users are assigned confidential user identification and password. Another type of authentication is biometrics. Next is role-based security methods may be employed to ensure user or viewer authorization. For example, data access level may be assigned to specified department staff. Next is access controls ensure that user action remain within their roles. For example, if a user is authorized to read but not write data, defined system controls may be integrated. Now, I explained data confidentiality with example like in figure, we have three person like sender A, receiver B, and unauthorized person. In this example, sender A sent the secret message to receiver B, and the message is sender A said our company is going to make 10% loss in quarter 4 result. This message is secret in between sender A and receiver B, but an unauthorized person can access this message and that person leaked this message to media. So this message is not secret and confidentiality is lost. Now, next point is integrity. Integrity refers to ensuring the authenticity of information, that information is not altered, and that the source of the information is genuine. Imagine that you have a website and you sell products on that site. Now, imagine that an attacker can shop on your website and maliciously alter the price of your product so that they can buy anything for whatever price they choose. That would be a failure of integrity because your information, in this case, the price of a product has been altered and you did not authorize this alteration. Another example of a failure of integrity is when you try to connect to a website and a malicious attackers between you and the website redirect your traffic to a different website. In this case, the site you are directed to is not genuine. Now, I explain data integrity with example like in this figure we have three persons like sender A, receiver B, and unauthorized person. In this example, sender A sent the secret message to receiver B, and the message is sender A said our company is going to make 10% loss in quarter 4 result. This message is secret in between sender A and receiver B, but an unauthorized person can access this message, and that person modified this message like our company is going to make 0% loss in quarter 4 result and send to receiver B. So at that time, receiver B can think this message is come from the sender A and trust on this message. So this way data integrity is lost. Now I explain data integrity risk. There is a group of factors that can affect the integrity of the data stored in a database. A few examples include like first is human error, means when individuals enter information incorrectly, duplicate or delete data, do not follow the appropriate protocol, or make mistake during the implementation of procedure meant to safeguard information, data integrity is put in trouble. Next is transfer error, means when data cannot successfully transfer from one location in a database to another, a transfer error has occurs. Transfer error happen when a piece of data is present in the destination table but not in the source table in a relational database. Next is bug and virus, means spyware, malware, and viruses are pieces of software that can enter a computer and alert, delete, or steal data. Next is compromised hardware, means sudden computer or server crash and problems with how a computer or other device functions are example of significant failure and may be indication that your hardware is compromised. Compromised hardware may render data incorrectly or incompletely, limit or eliminate access to data, or make information hard to use. Now, I explain in which way risk to data integrity can easily be minimized or eliminated by doing the following steps. First is limiting access to data and changing permission to restrict change to information by unauthorized parties. Next is validating data to make sure it's correct both when it's gathered and used. Next is backing up data. Next is using logs to keep track of when data is added, modified, or deleted. Next is conducting regular internal audits. Next is using error detection software. So this way we can manage data integrity. Now I explain data availability. Availability means that information is accessible by authorized user. If an attacker is not able to compromise the elements of information security, they may try to execute attacks like denial of service that would bring down the server, making the website unavailable to legitimate user. due to lack of availability. Now, I explain guidelines of data availability. When managing data availability, following these guidelines. First is backup data, means backup copies of data are essential in the event that data is lost or corrupt. If the data cannot be restored, even particularly from a backup, then you may need to start from scratch. Next point is inventory data, means you cannot protect what you do not know you have. By inventorying data, you become aware of the different kinds and amounts of data in your care and can make information discussion about how best to manage it. In some case, you may find data that you did not even know you had. Next point is follow records, retention policy and procedure, means when data is no longer relevant or useful, it should be securely disposed of or achieved accordingly to the university's needs. Record retention policy establishes data management requirements, includes how long data should be retained and how it should be stored. Next point is securely dispose of data, device, and paper records. Means when data is no longer necessary for university related purpose, it must be disposed of appropriately. For that, sensitive data such as social security numbers must be securely erased to ensure that it cannot be recovered and misused. Devices that were used for university replaced purpose or that were otherwise used to store sensitive information should be destroyed or securely erased to ensure that their previous contents cannot be recovered and misused. Paper documents containing sensitive information should be shredded rather than dumped into trash or recycle bin. Next point is use official university accounts and system rather than personal ones. Means the university provides computing accounts and system in part to facilitate the management of university information. When data is stored in personal or external accounts, it's become inaccessible to others who may depend on it and may also be defectively protected. So, I hope you can understand the concept of data availability. So, thank you friends watching this video. I hope you can understand the concept of data security. Thank you.